Hello, Chase Palagi here. Thank you for tuning into my channel, and today we are going to kick off part 3 of this series, and this will be titled Choosing Your Carry Method. We have a lot to go over and cover, so let's go ahead and get started. Before we get into the video, I just want to address really quick, I'm not going to open a whole can of worms, but just the open versus conceal carry, okay? Now, obviously you can do either, whatever's right for you. I personally prefer conceal carry, and I'll just give you the reasons why I do, okay? Number one, while interacting with people on an everyday basis, I'd like to be perceived as approachable. Okay, that's kind of a big one for me, especially in my line of work. Okay, so it makes sense for me to conceal. Another one, if God forbid the time came where I was forced to use my sidearm, I'd like to retain that element of surprise, right? So, although I'm generally aware of my surroundings, it's just less nerve-wracking when people are behind me when the firearm is concealed. And although I just don't like people too close to me, or definitely not behind me, it's just kind of exhausting. It's constantly adjusting your position so nobody's behind my firearm during the off chance that I am open carrying. I just personally feel like I'm in condition orange while, like I'm in grocery lines or in tighter places of any sort, okay, while I'm open carrying. So, when I'm conceal carrying, I'm more kind of in the condition yellow, so to speak. So, but that's just me personally, okay? But, there's going to be a chart at the end of the video rating the different carry methods on comfort, concealment, security, speed, etc. Okay, but I just want to talk a little bit on each of them and how they might work and what may work best for you. Okay, let's go ahead and start with inside the waistband here. Okay, and this is actually my preferred carry method because it just rates highest in all the categories for me that I spoke of. Okay, like I said, you can check it out at the end of the video, see what I'm talking about. All right. Now, there's many different kinds of inside the waistband holsters out there. I mean, you have just your regular clip here, with leather, okay? You've got these, sort of buckles that you can, unsnap and fish through your belt. And then my personal favorite is the hybrid, okay? Kind of the Kydex on leather. I know it's kind of a goofy looking setup, but I am telling you it is bar none the most comfortable, okay? I did show this in other videos. Essentially the way this works, this is of course, say your pants are out here, it goes inside the waistband, your clips go on the outside, and what's nice about these is they're actually tuckable. I mean, you can tuck your shirts down in there for, it's just very concealable, it's very comfortable, and as far as the holsters that I would personally recommend for it, actually the Galco King Tuck is at the top of my list. I mean, by far and away. There's all different kinds of holsters out there. Like Alien Gear. They make a decent holster, and not too bad of a price. It's actually very, very reasonable. And what's nice about these guys is they have so many different guns out there. Like this one has a laser on it. This one was made for the Laser Max laser. I mean, there's so many different things you can do with it, okay? They also have a neoprene version of this, kind of a softer, and then you can get it in this brown too as well, okay? That is one nice thing about the Alien Gear is, like I say, they're cheap and they make them for almost all of them, okay? A couple others that people like are those crossbreed holsters, Fox. Actually, there's so many of them out there. I mean, do your research. But like I say, if I were to recommend one, it's going to be the Galco. Now, these are traditionally the inside the waistband. There's obviously different ways of carrying inside the waistband, but traditionally, these are going to be between your, 3 and 5 o'clock. If you're right-handed, and 7 to 9 if you're lefty, obviously. Okay. Now, let's talk about inside the waistband appendix. Okay, that seems to be a more popular carry method these days. Now that would be in your like 11 to 1 o'clock position, okay? And although I really like the draw presentation and the concealability of it, I've just never found it comfortable enough to adopt it. It's just, for me, it's just kind of tough to sit down, like in a car, or, you know, or bend over and grab something or whatever. It's just not that comfortable. But that can actually be mitigated just simply by kind of hiking your pants up a little bit before you sit or do whatever you're going to do. But I still find other carry methods to be easier for me. Okay. Okay, let's talk about pocket carry really quick. Okay, a pocket carry is obviously geared for the smaller guns. Okay, you know, little 380s. Maybe if you can get a 9mm small enough. Okay, that might work well for pocket carry. All right. Now, the way this works, obviously, as the name implies, you stick this in your pocket, whatever pocket it may be. You can see this hook, it kind of has to be rigid for its design. What happens is you reach in your pocket, you're going to pull out and pull back at the same time. This little hook is going to grab against your pocket, and it pulls it out. And usually the holster stays in your pocket, and this comes out, you know, fairly easily and pretty well on that, okay? So it can be pretty effective, especially in the warmer months when, you know, we wear less clothing and all of that. But that is another way. It is a good way, and if you have a small enough gun, perhaps you can do that. Okay. Okay, let's talk ankle carry for a minute. Okay, there's many different ankle holsters out there as well. I've messed around with some of them. One thing I will say, if you decide to ankle carry, it is, first of all, it's a backup for me, okay? I wouldn't necessarily recommend that for a primary, okay? It's actually one of my preferred methods for backup, but like I say, for a primary, I wouldn't necessarily recommend this unless you have a profession or just another reason you're unable to carry a firearm in a more traditional system, okay? Again, it's going to be designed for smaller firearms, and if you get cheap ankle rigs, it's going to be an uncomfortable system. I guarantee it. Okay, this is the Galco ankle glove. Okay, you can see kind of the lamb's wool you have in there, and a fairly thick neoprene. This is by far and away the most comfortable carry method on the ankle that I have found. All right. The leather's nice. You have this retention device that you just break your snap, pull your firearm out. It's just a great one. I don't know. There are, like I say, there's other ones out there, real high dollar ones. I don't know what these run exactly. Maybe, I don't know, $80 or something like that. But so far, this is the only one I can personally recommend. Okay, let's talk about the shoulder holster really quick. I've got a thing from Galco. You know, in Galco, I'm not I'm not trying to endorse them necessarily. Their products seem to be really squared away. Okay, this is kind of some of their rigs for their shoulder holsters. There's so many different ones. Your classic light, the other ones. There's Don Hume makes some decent ones. Okay, you know, you have those cheaper nylon ones. I actually have some of those too. Like, you know, these. Where if you have a lot of different firearms, you know, ones like this, you know, it might be advantageous just because you can put different ones in there, where most of Galco's offerings are formed specifically to the gun. Okay, this system is actually, it's going to be very comfortable, and it's actually my preferred method if I'm out like in the sticks, in the mountains, fishing, you know, that sort of thing. But if you were to have sport coats or like wear coats all day, it might be an option. But you know, a smaller version like the classic light here can be put under like a loose fitting button up shirt. Alright, let's talk a little bit about the paddle holster. Okay, there's different, obviously, I mean, just like all of these different options. There's so many different ones to choose from, okay? Now, I don't have like a dedicated paddle holster here. Let me get this out of the way. But, let's see, where's my Glock here? Here we go. Okay, so this is actually made by Blackhawk. This is a Sportster. You notice there's no Serpa buttons or anything like that, okay? Right now, this one is designed for the belt carry, okay? And really, the belt and the paddle are going to be similar in a lot of ways. But what you would do is take these screws out and you put this this guy in like this, and then this would actually fit, you know, your belt right there. So, you know, you can just throw it on. You can throw it on without, you know, taking your belt off, you know, that sort of thing. So, anyway, it's actually a pretty comfortable system, and it's going to excel if you take a handgun course or if you're at the range. But it's obviously not usually going to be the most concealable, or, you know, it's not the best at concealing. I'll just put it that way. Okay, the belt holster, like I was saying, these are all same sort of thing. There's Kydex, which I tend to favor a little more now. Like I said before, although I prefer the aesthetics of leather, Kydex is just, you know, it's less maintenance, it's rigid, you know, that sort of thing. Okay. Now, like I said, there's all different kinds of belt holsters out there, you know, leather and otherwise, okay? We're not going to go through all of those, but just suffice to say that they're out there, and if you're into that sort of thing, just go ahead and check that out, okay? It can be concealable, you know, if you do it right. You know, you kind of have to change your wardrobe around to the way that you're going to conceal carry, all right? Now, there are designs made specifically for carrying close to the body for concealment, like, you know, Bravo concealment, Raven concealment, some of those Galco leather offerings I was just showing you there. And then you have the range styles, you know, like these, like the Blackhawks and a bunch of others out there, okay? Okay, alright, let's quickly talk about in a bag or off the body carry, okay? Now, this would be my very last recommendation, but depending on your local laws, that may be the best method of concealment without needing a license. I mean, obviously check those first, because I don't know what it's like in your area. But if something, or if somebody, I should say, were to snatch your bag or your purse that you're carrying, they now have your gun too, okay? And that's a reason I'm not really a fan of it, and I'm just generally a proponent of keeping firearms on your person at all times, okay? Okay, let's talk about the belly band really quick, okay? This thing right here, alright? Let's go ahead and get this out of the way real fast. Okay. As you can see, it's just a band. It has Velcro right here. Your firearm snaps in. It has these places for your mags and that, okay? This is actually another preference of mine for backup carry, or if I'm wearing like a suit or dress clothes or something, I will actually most likely use this as my primary carry method, alright? It's great though, because you can place it like under your armpit, the firearm itself, or you know, like a shoulder rig would, or you could actually, you know, run it in standard 3 or 4 or 5 o'clock position, even appendix actually for that matter. It's just a neat system that works well for like runners or people whose profession requires like scrubs, or anyone else that doesn't normally wear a belt. You know, or if concealment's the utmost important, this might be a consideration. It's actually a great system here. Okay, let's talk about the belt really quick, alright? It's a very important part of your carry system, and it's the foundation of a good carry system, alright? It becomes more important with the more weight that you add, and you're going to want a purpose-made gun belt, alright? The leather ones are usually double thick and relatively stiff. I mean, you can see how these ones actually taper toward the end. This is more of a dress belt here. And then you have the thick ones all the way through. But they're normally very thick Okay, very rigid, and that's what you don't want is for it to be able to crush in your hand. So just your regular Walmart belt's just not going to cut it. Something like this, okay, it's actually very super rigid, okay, and then toward the end here, this is actually very flexible, so it can go through the the buckle here. All right, there's all different kinds of belts out there. Go ahead and do your research on that, but I'll tell you, a good belt is really going to help with your conceal carry system big time. I mean, just as much as a holster, really. Okay, as far as sizing is concerned, there's like 1 1/4, 1 1/2, 1 3/4. You know, what does it all mean? Blah 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 blah. Well, a width of 1 1/2 is kind of the standard in my personal preference. A 1 1/4 will work okay if you carry like lighter, smaller guns, and it fits well like in slacks and dress pants and that sort of thing. Okay, a 1 3/4 will be the most sturdy, and in the interest of accommodating the other two sizes, you may find like mainstream manufacturers fit their gear according to the 1 3/4, like for instance these Blackhawks. Okay, so they run actually a little bit loose on what I have, and typically that's not exactly what you want. Okay, like I said, I like 1 1/2. That's what my belt is. This is a 511 trainer, I believe is what it is. Okay. Now, one thing that you're going to want to look for, though, is that your loops fit your carry belt. You know, you don't want them flopping around and all over the place, okay? I did mention before, I do run these on here, and it's actually, surprisingly, it has turned out okay, but traditionally, that's not what you're going to want to do, okay? And let's talk about mag pouches really quick, get this out of the way. Of course, you got your leather mag pouches. Again, I prefer Kydex. Alright. Let's see what I put there. Alright, right here, okay. So, although a bit bulky, I really do like the Blackhawk mag pouches. Okay, they can be put on after the belt is on, which I like. They're pretty secure on the belt, and you can get them just about anywhere. That's what I really like, alright. It is, the way it works, it's a friction fit. I don't know if you can see that down in there. There's a little polymer tab that kind of gives it resistance so it's not going to fall out. It's a very simple yet effective design that I just like. Like I said, they're ubiquitous, they're everywhere. If you break something or you break it, you can just go pick up another one. Although I did break a clip on one of these Blackhawk, just threw one in the mail at no charge, which I thought was very nice. Another thing is you can take these off with these screws. Again, hard to see these screws here. And you can attach them to your other accessories, like on my shoulder holsters and such. I can take those off and put it on there, and that's another nice thing. This is your single stack. Obviously, it's going to be a little more streamlined, but that is Blackhawk as well there. You can get them in carbon fiber and all of that. This is inside the waistband. This is by, I believe this is Fox, okay? Just a friction fit. It's just molded to the actual thing. It actually clicks in. It's not going anywhere. You got your clip right here, and like I said, it fits inside the waistband, which is ultra concealable, but something like this is going to be a lot more comfortable. So again, it's going to depend on what you're going for there, okay? One thing of advice I would give you, if you carry more than one mag, like one extra mag I should say, I'd advise you to go with 2 singles as opposed to 1 double, okay? And the reason being is just the platform. The double platform, it's just rigid, okay? These, they'll move independently. You'll just get better movement, better even concealability out of it. That's just one thing that I picked up while carrying, so to each his own. But anyway, that about sums it up. I hope, you know, that helps you guys out there. I know there's so much that I wanted to include that I just couldn't in this video. So if you have any questions, concerns, comments, just go ahead and leave your mark in the comment section. Thanks for supporting my channel, and until next time, this is Chase, signing off.